Here we are again, 29,400. Bitcoin isn't moving, even though we had the PPI numbers. PPI numbers were the producer price inflation numbers, which is effectively a lagging indicator for inflation because it is what the producers of consumer goods are feeling in their numbers. We were expecting 2.3%. We got 2.4%. So a slight increase in those numbers. Market did come down a little bit as that happened, but again, back and we recovered quite quickly. Today on the show, we're going to do a very different show. It is a kind of Friday banter, but what we're doing today is we're trading live in the ByBit trading competition. I've taken a few positions. Sheldon's taken a few positions. Gareth's going to be hopping on. Jordi's going to be hopping on. And then we'll get a whole lot of other traders logging on to join us today, talk about their trade suggestions. And actually later in the show, if you've got trade suggestions and you want to come on and you want to have some fun with us, then we'll send out a link and you guys can join us. So I think that is what we're going to be doing today. Let's see. Is my man Sheldino here? Sheldino.
No more crypto, bro. Time for stocks. What's happening, bro?
Crypto's become too boring. Hey? Crypto's become too boring.
It's too boring, bro. I decided to dress up. I don't know. Just try to keep us entertained at the moment. How are you, bro? Is this market going to do something soon?
Sheldon, I'm going to just change Wi-Fi because I don't know if it's me or you, but one of our internets is not feeling so good. I think it's there we go.
I think it is. It should be back.
Okay. Okay. Am I the one that's down?
No, I think you're good.
Okay, there I am. I'm back. All right, let's quickly talk about the market. So we had the PPI numbers. PPI numbers were worse than expected, which means that if inflation is going to become rampant again, then there is a chance that the Fed is going to increase its interest rates. And so the market's getting a little bit spooked there. Not a bad miss. I mean, we were up 0.1 above the expectation. So PPI grew 0.3 month on month and 0.8 year on year in July. There is an inflation problem. It does probably mean that the Fed may have to increase interest rates again. I was looking at the Fed, the probabilities of an interest rate increase. When I look at the probabilities of an interest rate increase now, still the market is forecasting no interest rate increase. I think that's garbage. I think we definitely get a interest rate increase. People are saying I'm frozen. Am I frozen?
I thought maybe it was me, but I do see you as frozen. I do see you frozen. What's happening, guys? Hope you're having a fantastic week so far. So obviously a little bit of news that just came out. Market reacted shorter time frame, little pullback. But so far, again, Bitcoin basically being one of the best stable coins in the market at the moment. And recently, what we got to remember is we did have this little breakout of this wedge. And I'm kind of hoping we hold this and we do have some sort of bullish response. I just don't know what's going to create interest in the market right now. It's just like extremely boring. You're back, brother.
I'm back. Yeah, so I shouldn't be frozen. So yeah, no more. I mean, the market's forecasting no more interest rate increases. I think the market's very wrong here. I think we've got at least one, but maybe even 2 interest rate increases coming up. That is one of the things I saw today. I also read quite an interesting tweet about a whole lot of things that have happened on the market. I actually want to try and find the tweet for you guys. Just really, yeah, here we go. So it comes from an account called 𝗪𝗏𝗏. And you should follow this account because he does a daily summary and it's actually awesome. It says, okay, crypto flat as macro rallies, the decoupling continues. Friendtech, a social trading platform, surges in popularity overnight. That's a social trading platform which was actually launched on Base, so which is Coinbase's new layer 2. It seems quite novel. It seems quite fun. It's people trading each other's social posts and stuff like that. Binance set to leave the EU. Not exactly set to leave the EU. Just seems that they are getting blocked by regulators. Binance invests $5 million in Curve, who will in return deploy on BNB, which is great. Coinbase invests in Rocket Pool. Base hits 136,000 active daily users. I actually saw that over here. Base is actually firing. In fact, if you look at the revenue that Base is starting to make, it's actually unbelievable. Let me see if I got the numbers here, but they were making huge revenue numbers from Base. So that's another thing that's happening. So Bitcoin ETF, there's an approval or denial or delay coming today from the SEC. My bet is that the SEC delay because the SEC don't need to approve. Why should they approve if I don't actually need to approve? So that's what's happening in terms of the approval. I wouldn't bet on the fact that there is an approval or denial today. I think it's just going to be a delay. Solana cuts the Saga phone by 40%. Maker attracts $750 million in TVL within 4 days because they increased the interest rates on DAI. WorldCoin, government investigation, Argentina. I think they banned in a few other countries. I think they banned in Kenya and a few other countries. That's pretty much what's going on. If you go into the low caps, Rollbit hits an all-time high. Coco, I must be honest, I took a position on Coco this morning, up 230%. Illuvium up 20%. And I think that's pretty much for us what's going on. How are you doing in the competition, Sheldon? Do you know?
Not too bad. So I took the approach of trying to trade 1 or 2 trades throughout the whole competition. So I've just been focusing quite a bit on just building a position. So as you can see over here, I've been using that method that I taught a while back about accumulating a position, and I've managed to build this thing up to quite a massive position, and to have at my stop. So at the moment, I think I'm more or less even. There we go. 11%. But for me, I'm not going on a sense of trading every day at the moment. I'm going for the bigger one and then slowing down. So it's better. A lot of people went big in the beginning and they got wiped pretty quick. And I feel you just got to take a little bit more time with your trades. Even yourself. I mean, I'm surprised you never traded hard on day one. Like you started going.
I'm being very.
You learned.
I mean, first of all, I think we're very close. Just go to your P&L. I think we're very, very close in our P&Ls. So my P&L here is 12.58.
We're right there, bro. We 10.
11.9. I took one trade yesterday. I used that tool that I actually showed you, which is the RSI tool. So,
bro, that is cool. That's very cool.
Yeah. So what it is, I showed it on the channel yesterday. It's cryptowaves.app. What it shows you all the RSIs. The RSIs indicate sentiment. This is the sentiment on the 4 hours. The ones that are overbought, I mean, I'm not going to say they're always correct, but they usually overbought. And the ones that are oversold usually recover. I'm not saying, when I say usually, it's around sentiment. And I mean, so I took one yesterday because I saw that Aptos was overbought because of the Microsoft announcement. I didn't believe that Microsoft announcement. And then it came all the way back down. So I took profits this morning. I was short at 740 and I closed at 707. And then this morning I woke up and I saw GMX very low. Low on the RSIs, also very low on if you look at the chart. So I'll quickly take you to the 1 day chart. You can just see where this chart is pretty much at lows that it hasn't been at for a long time. So as you can see, I bought here near the bottom. I'm down $230, but I think long term I'm comfortable to hold this. So that's the 2 positions that I'm in. What are your setups here? What are you?
Well, it's quite interesting because you showed that thing over there that said that THORChain is hitting the bought sort of area, and it is quite interesting to see where it is on the chart at the moment. There we go. So you can see it's right at the top over there, and if I look at the chart on where we're here, like there's a possible quite a big weekly breakout possibly happen, and a little bit of a push up in volume here. Have you heard anything? Because for me, this coin got absolutely annihilated. I've been wondering, like, is it going to come back to life? I think this thing's been literally at $24 before, and it's been sitting around $1 for a while. Are you still bullish on THORChain? Like fundamentally, is it still around? Is it still going to be a player? If so, and we do break this wedge, we could see a possible great little run, even to the top of the range, to 3x. So I'd love to know your thoughts on, is it still alive?
I've got a position in THORChain. I've got to be honest. I hold a position in one of my main portfolios. I hold a position in THORChain. So do I think it's going to be alive? Yes. Is it like one of my massive positions? No. But it does have good tech. What worries me about THORChain from a fundamentals point of view is that the tech was good when it launched, but I don't know if there's probably better cross-chain protocols now. So I'm excited. It's not one of my biggest things. I don't know.
And why do you think it got so hammered? Why do you think it got so smashed in this bear? No idea.
No idea. I think all altcoins went down. Didn't have a very strong community. It's not a very exciting narrative. And I just think I think that there's not much of a like dev hype that there was in the bull market. So for me, I'm kind of what's the word I'm saying? Like, I'm out of it. Listen, we didn't welcome everyone. So listen, if you are new to the channel, subscribe to our channel. We have a lot of fun here. I want to show you what we're doing around World Series of Trading. If you're here, let everyone know you're here, but just smash the like button, let everyone know that you're here. We are mainly talking today about trading ideas for World Series of Trading, trying to provide a healthy mix between fundamentals and technicals, and giving you ideas of what we're trading. I want to also just show you, I want to show you something. We do have a dedicated Discord for World Series of Trading. So if you are in our team, you can join our dedicated Discord on the Crypto Banter. There's a link below. Here is the Discord. There's the whole Crypto Banter Discord. You got Sheldon's charts. All Sheldon's charts are over here. You got new trade setups over here. You've got Kyle's charts. You've got Bombay's charts. So you've got all that over here. And then for World Series of Trading, we've got competition. Here we go. So here's like trading education. Here's the competition trades. I made a video earlier while we were in the management meeting as I took my position. All right, guys, we're in the middle of a banter management meeting. You can see everybody's here. Everybody's here. Everybody remotely. And what I'm doing is I'm actually taking a trade now for the ByBit competition. The trade is on GMX. The reason why I've taken this long trade on GMX is because I think this price has been pummeled. And I think that it's going to recover. And I saw some big sellers in the market. So you can see I entered my trade at 45.39. I'm a little bit down, but don't worry, it will recover. It will recover. Should I put in a stop loss? So that's that is the Banter Hub. If you want to join the Banter Hub, we in the Banter Hub. We're pretty active. I'm there, Sheldon's there, etc. Look, we've got some guests joining us. Eric Crown's joining us in a couple of seconds. Just waiting for him to switch on his camera, and then we'll add him to the stream. Gareth joining us. Jordi is joining us in a couple of minutes, and we're just going to talk about trading ideas, trading suggestions. Eric, are you with us, bro? Eric, are you around? I think he's coming on in a sec. All right, he'll switch on his camera.
We've even got our main man, Raymond. What's up, bro? What up? Amazing. So again, Ron, I think that let's just pop up some charts at the moment to wait for some guests to play out here. So obviously we had Bitcoin, had a decent little bounce, the mid 28,000s, and so far outside of this wedge and busy with the retest. So I'm kind of hoping somehow we get some sort of interest within the market here, and if we could bounce here, it could be a nice little track for us back to the top areas of the 31,000s. The only thing that's obviously worrying me is a little spike in 𝗙𝗐𝗄𝗃 after today. So, is this going to break the little resistance? Is it a bit of a sign that maybe there's a bit of a stock market pullback? I think this is the one that we've obviously been stressing a bit to say what could slow down the momentum. And if the stock market did have to come back and retrace another 3 to 5, maybe even 8%, what would that do within crypto? Is Mr. Eric Crown over here?
Mr. Eric, how are you, sir?
Yes, sir. How you guys doing? Good to be here. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, bro.
Indeed.
Yo, yeah, I mean, let's quickly just take a look at the bubbles with Eric. So roll bit up at new all-time highs today. I think it was at 20 cents today. So it's 18.8. Pulse down 14.2%. GMX down. On the hourly chart, Flex is starting to recover. Not much movement. It looks like it's pretty dead here. Eric, what do you think of the PPI numbers and the interest rates potentially going up? Do you think we're in trouble? What do you think?
Oh man, Rand, you are asking the precisely wrong person. I don't pay attention to none of that, or very, very little at least. I'm mostly trading the 5-minute, the 10-minute, the 15-minute time frames. I don't really go higher than that. So to me, looking at PPI, CPI, all this sort of stuff, it's like a phantom. It exists, but somewhere else, and I'm just not all that in tune with it, to be honest with you.
So you're trading shorter time frames, really? I've been struggling in this market with the shorter time frame. I've been preferring like the 8-hour swings at the moment. I'm very interested to see how you're doing.
On in the short term right now.
Nothing's going on, bro.
It was really, really good. Like the first few months of this year, but the last couple of months have just been nothing. I mean, you can be trading like a 5-minute, 10-minute time frame, and you're talking about like $50, on average. Just it's not it's just not worth it, to be honest with you.
But what's your thoughts on Bitcoin at the moment, bro? And especially the segment emotionally, like where do you think we're at?
Yeah, I mean, where do I think that we're at? I think that Bitcoin is, it's in the portion of the transitionary market, if you will. I believe that we've seen the lows. I've documented this for quite some time now, and I believe that we're just going to see kind of like a nice sideways and up from here. Sideways can obviously, play out quite some time, as we've seen over the past couple months. But ultimately, if you're interested in the more like near term, I guess, I can pull up a 12-hour chart for you, and I'm just looking at statistically based quant ranges over here. And so what the model that I'm looking at right now is
29,000. Sorry, that was my sound.
Bring them on, baby. Start them young. Anyways, the model that I'm looking at right here says our current range is between about 28.5 to the downside versus about 31.3 to the upside. Average of the range coming in at 29.9. And basically, what does that mean? It means that the longer that Bitcoin holds sideways here, the more and more likely it is going to be to go up. But how long does it need to hold sideways above that 28.5 low or so? At least another few days, honestly, before we do start to see bullish momentum start to take back on. But in the near term, there are some downside signals, of course. I do think that we could very easily see another dip back down somewhere closer to, just below $29,000. I don't know how relevant that is to the crew here, because it seems like people are more long-term folks, which is great. But ultimately, as long as Bitcoin's above about 28.8, 28.5 region, I'm looking for this one to grind it out sideways and try another move to the upside, probably closer to 31.3 or so. And then that's the big level for me. If Bitcoin can start to break above 31.3, I have several other things that do suggest that we're probably going to see a pretty large explosion, maybe 35,000 bucks. I mean, just intuitively, you probably already know this because volatility is so damn low right now. That does imply that the resolution of this volatility, when it naturally expands, it's mathematically programmed too, is going to be pretty damn large, dare I say. So that's the big move that I'm looking for right here. Again, Bitcoin going sideways for another few days, maybe another week, honestly, maybe another week. But if it can go sideways above that 28.5, 29 level or so, that's essentially my sort of look at bullish continuation.
Okay, and a little bit on the bearish side. Let's say we lose 28.5.
Wait.
Yeah, 28.5, and it's Problem City all the way down to 26.7. That's my next range low over here. That's where about the 80% of historic returns range comes in around. So I'd be looking anywhere between about 26.7 to 26.9 or so. Probably an attempt for a bounce there. I don't know if I'd necessarily call the reversal just at the first drop of it. I'd want to see it in real time, but at least a bounce somewhere there and then come back to it because things can obviously get a lot more nasty.
So Sheldon, you always said to me, if there's an accumulation, when you get the move after the accumulation, the move is going to be the same size as the accumulation. Now, when I look at this accumulation is quite big. It's like all of this, right? Like
yeah. So if you look at the last one, look what it created as the result.
So if we go up or down, are you saying now if we go up or down, I'm looking for a line that's that long?
Exactly. It's a big move. So therefore, like for me, the longer we go sideways now, the more coiling up to the size of the next move. And I think that's the big one. If it's to the upside, I think it's enough to get to the late 30,000s. And I think it's to the downside, I think we could be surprised for a wick to maybe 25, 24. Like that's why it's quite nerve-wracking that it's going sideways. Like we got to get past that 31 just so that we can start progressing. We have to turn. For me, it's the bull market line. That 30, 31, 32. If we're above there, I feel we're in bull. As long as we stay below there, there's always a slight bearish or, continue of the bear run for a little while longer.
Eric, are you looking at any other tokens? Or are you only looking at Bitcoin? What other tokens are you looking at?
It's quite random you ask that. Usually I don't look at anything other than Bitcoin, maybe a little bit of Ethereum as well. But I started looking at this damn RLB token, and that thing is quite interesting. I mean, it's nearly up like 2x in the last few days here, and it's an interesting proposition. I mean, I have no affiliates with them or nothing like that, but they have a working exchange, they have real revenues, and they have a token, and they're doing the old buy and burn now. And I feel like I've kind of seen this book play before, and well, it looks pretty damn good to me if I bring it up over here.
I mean, look, we've been buying it since 2 cents. We told the community about it.
Oh, beautiful. Amazing. Okay, so I got in way after you then.
Be careful because you have a 10x run. So just you don't want to be the exit liquidity. You know what I'm saying? So just be careful. I mean, I'm not saying it's not going to go up, but it has gone up a lot.
What's the market cap on it?
I think it's around 350, 400.
Yeah,
okay.
Well, let's look at the fully diluted. I think fully diluted is probably about 700 million. Which is, I mean, that's, you're talking big league here. We're talking big league here.
Yeah, it's starting to get pretty big.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying you're making a mistake buying it. I'm just saying it's the fully diluted valuation is $1 billion now. So.
Oh wow. Okay, let's get in there.
It's a big token now. If you look at fully diluted valuation, I bought a small cap. I'm not shilling it. It's got zero liquidity. Don't follow me on this trade at all. But I bought a small cap casino stock. I think it's called Coco. So I bought Coco today, which is, it's a $6 or $7 million market cap. I'm not saying that you guys should ape. I'm just saying I took a very small position just because it's the gambling fire narrative. And I think that the gambling fire narrative is the hot narrative at the moment. People want to gamble, bro. That's what
gamble. It'll make money. They just want, yeah, it's true. So you think it's going to be a big industry?
Gambling, huge. Well, what do you do with your crypto? You speculate. And we all, I mean, there's two use cases. In my mind, there's three use cases for crypto. Store of value, Bitcoin, sending money from point A to point B, and then speculation. That's why we're here. I mean, come on. You know, you either want to store a value, or you want to send money from one place to another, or you just want to speculate. You want to degen. You want the dopamine in your head to go crazy. That's what it is. Eric, what do you think of ETH, sir? Have you looked at the ETH BTC charts of late?
Okay, ETH BTC. Let me pull that one up. Last I looked, I'm pretty bearish on it long term, to be honest with you. Yeah, I'll still stick with that. It's probably gonna get a bounce relatively soon, but any bounce that fails to reclaim 6.7 million satoshis is just a bounce. I mean, I'm looking for this one to come down pretty hard over the next year and a half.
Oh, you think so, eh?
When you say that, what do you base it on? Like, what's your, I'd love to learn your methodology.
Yeah, absolutely. So this one's a pretty simple chart right here, actually. If we go to the quarterly, you can see Ethereum Bitcoin pairing. And by the way, before the chat crucifies me, this does not mean Ethereum's going to go down versus the dollar. I'm not saying that. I don't have a strong opinion on that. Whatever direction Bitcoin goes, Ethereum will go as well. But looking at it right here, just very simplistic chart. Whoops, I got too many damn things. So convoluted chart right now. But if you look at this, area that it's been kind of grinding up against, this was the same breakdown level that we saw from April 2018. Whenever I see something like this, it's a lot more likely on the macro scale to be coming down from these sort of major levels and basing, much lower. In this case, we have seen, a long-term consolidation, yes. But it hasn't really come down all that far, just to the 382 fib right here. I'd like to see somewhere around the 50% retracement, maybe even the 618 if it becomes really, really weak. I think that's more of a stretch, obviously. But for right now, I'm still kind of expecting generally more sideways in the more near term. Maybe around end of year, we start to see this one come down. And after that, I think it's going to be a pretty big opportunity, actually, maybe coming into like early next year, 2024, something like that.
Ooh. Okay, I have another question for you.
But which means, like, isn't that a bad thing for altcoins? We need a dominance fall, you know what I mean? And like for me as well, I've been waiting. Obviously,
I'm a huge dominance bull right now, long term. To be
really, do you think there's 60% on the cards?
Oh, 100% it's on the cards, yes. But I do think that 58% is going to be kind of the bigger level in between there. But long term, I mean, we do see that coming off of this W bottom right here, there would be an implied move somewhere around 60%, actually. Yeah. Getting past there, I think it's going to be quite difficult. But the big numbers for me is 54-ish, let's say. And then you got 58 to 60-ish region. Those are the big ones for me where I kind of expect generalized pullbacks.
Wow,
okay. Gareth, what's happening?
Hey guys, how you doing?
Gareth's gonna agree with you. Gareth, how are you, sir?
I'm doing wonderfully well. How are you?
Good, man. Thoughts on the PPI numbers coming in hotter than expected?
Yeah, I mean, it's along the lines. Yeah, I was just gonna say it's along the lines with what I've been expecting, man. I've been saying for a while that you're gonna get sticky inflation around 3%, and I think this is telling us more and more. Like even the numbers yesterday came in higher than last month, so people just have to be ready. The Fed's been telling us higher for longer is going to be the way it is, and I think that's the way it's going to turn out to be.
What are you looking at in terms of charts? And maybe pull up some. I always say when a chartist talks about charts, you got to be very, very scared. Very scared.
Here, let's see. Let me get my charts up here. Let me see what we got here. So, I mean, I'm eyeing Square here. Do you guys mind if I talk some stocks or is that?
Okay. Talk, you do you, bro.
All right. Yeah, so we got a lot of support. So Square, as you can see, the stock's fallen from 81. I mean, heck, this looks like a crypto chart to me, down from $82 down to 61 here. You got some decent technical support in this range. We're kind of just below, but I'm in the camp that you're getting close to this lower end of support. So there's possibly, and again, these are swing trades, so this isn't like a long-term investment. It's just looking for bounces when they come. But markets are getting hammered again today. Quite something.
Yeah, Well, I mean, people must be worried about inflation, right?
Yeah, I think that's exactly it. And you can see NVIDIA broke down again today. Really, there's a few levels, like NVIDIA has supported 406 here. That's going to be a big level. But after that, you're talking gap window at 376. So, I mean, it's the AI narrative that kind of had things going nuts is starting to crack a little bit, it seems.
Well, take me through to the NASDAQ chart. Let's look at the chart of the NASDAQ, and let's look at the chart of the S&P and maybe the 𝗙𝗍, and just try and piece together what's actually going on a more global scale here. Yeah,
absolutely. So I'm still in the camp, and again, that we're probably repeating more so the charts going back to the .com era. And again, what we see is this really tremendous run up on the weekly chart, the pullback, and then we've had this big run where many have proclaimed a new bull market, which it may turn out to be. I'm just a skeptic until we take out that high as a technician. But what I love to show here is if we go back to the .com era, it was so similar, like a really sharp incline here, almost exactly what we saw. Like this could have been COVID right here for all we know, but it wasn't back then. But then you had this crazy run up, the pullback, and then again, the same kind of move before the next rollover. So it looks very similar to kind of what we've been seeing here. I think that you're starting to see cracks in the economy. I've talked about how the jobs numbers have been strong, but if you looked at the underbelly of the jobs number, the government's been one of the key players hiring, and the private sector has actually been contracting. So that's not a good signal for the jobs market, even though we still have good jobs numbers. And then kind of the same thing in regards to consumer confidence. If you look at consumer confidence, it's been great, but the higher income consumer confidence is up here. Anyone in the lower 50% is like skydiving, right? So you have these two separate groups within the economy, and that's not sustainable for a long period of time. Right now, people are making, or we're making, a lot of money in the stock market. So it's been great, but I don't think that continues forever.
Oh man. Okay. So I think that you probably have the same view of the NASDAQ and the S&P, right?
Yeah. Generally, I mean, the NASDAQ definitely is a little bit more inflated just because of the stocks that are in it. I mean, when you see, the NASDAQ having the Apples and the NVIDIAs and the Microsofts that, historically, back in my early days, even in a medium bull market, PEs of the biggest companies were in the range of 15. Here we've been seeing 30 plus on Microsoft, which again is kind of unreal, honestly. And same thing with Apple. And so if we look at the S&P 500, we're kind of into some support levels here. You can see this upsloping trend line. We've just kind of broken this secondary one. But if this level breaks on the S&P, there's really not a lot of support on the spiders, at least till 431. That would be around 4,300 on the S&P.
Oof. And let's look at the 𝗙𝗍 quickly, Gareth, because I saw the 𝗙𝗍 had a bit of a spike after this whole PPI, CPI number.
Yeah. So the 𝗙𝗍 here, we can see here, this yellow line is really what I've been following. And what's amazing is we came up to it, which is resistance. We pulled back, but we've been like sticky. It's keeps wanting.
Yeah, it's like hugging it right now.
Yeah. I mean, it really wants to it almost looks like it wants to break back above it, which again is to me, that's a sign that the world is starting to get nervous, right? We know China's economic data is horrendous. Europe's horrendous. Japan is starting to become a mess with this yield curve control that they're loosening. And, when you have 250% debt to GDP and you let interest rates go up, that's not going to be good for anyone, but they kind of have to do it because of inflation. They're being forced into it. So people are starting to say, all right, back to the dollar we go.
Do you think Japan's going to increase interest rates? Because, I mean, they don't even know what high interest rates are. Do you think they're going to increase interest rates?
That's what's so nuts. I mean, you literally go back, 40 years was the last time they had higher interest rates. And so their economy is built on essentially zero interest rates. But the problem is that that's great when you have zero inflation or deflation like they've had. But now you're throwing into the mix inflation, and they're like, well, the party has to end at some point. And I think that's my biggest concern, is that we're at the beginning stages of something that could play out over the next 5 years that could be really globally catastrophic. Like if you look at the Great Recession, right? It was Europe, but this was US based, but it played out in some of these other countries. But what we're seeing now with low interest rates, this could really be a China, Japan, Europe, England, US. I mean, really a global credit crisis.
Okay, I mean, just for those of you who don't follow, Japan doesn't really have high interest rates and don't know what inflation is. I mean, Japanese have never had inflation. Now all of a sudden they've been printing so much money and putting so much money into the economy that they're getting inflation at the moment. And the only way for them to curb inflation is to increase interest rates. Now, traditionally, people have borrowed money in Japan to go and invest it in the United States and other places, because you could borrow at close to 0 interest rates, and then you could go and invest that in the US and earn, well, now 5%. But now, because they're going to increase interest rates in the yen, or well, they will probably have to increase interest rates in the yen, that means that people may actually disinvest from the United States, get their money back so they can invest it back in Japan. And that's the problem. That Japan's the largest, if I'm not mistaken, Japan's the largest holder of US T-bills. Could that be possible?
Yeah, the treasuries. Yeah, they're the largest holder of US treasuries. Yeah. That's why it's an issue, because even if you see a small portion of that unloaded, that could be very destabilizing to the world order, essentially.
Cool, Gareth. Let's look at the cryptos. Let's look at Bitcoin. Let's look at Bitcoin dominance. Let's look at ETH.
All right, hang on. Let me yawn. No,
it's true, bro. It's true. When last you see the market so boring?
Like, what happened here, man? I mean, you know, even you had this little uptick a couple days ago, and then since then it's just these little stair steps down. And listen, I mean, there's two ways of looking at it. One is we're just consolidating in a tighter and tighter range until an explosive move up. Maybe the approval, I think, and you guys would know this better, but I think, isn't the ARK Invest deadline coming up here in another week or two?
Well, it's today. Well, it's not today. It's Sunday, but Sunday equals today because Sunday is not a work day for the SEC. So.
Gotcha. So basically, we're going to get word today. Am I right on that? Like, do they have to respond, or can they just not respond? Or
well, the word can be approval, denial, or delay. And I guess that the SEC is going to continue to delay, because that's just what the SEC do, because they don't report to anyone. They don't care. So
yeah,
approve now or delay.
Yeah, so I think that makes sense here. And basically, you just have the whole crypto market, for the most part, on hold. We know that volatility is at all-time lows, which, by the way, I mean, that sometimes can be a bullish signal when no one is kind of excited anymore. It kind of could signal a low. I think for me, it's just following the levels. I know, Sheldon, you know, it's just like, we know our resistance, right? We know our support line here. It's a wedge pattern. It's getting tighter and tighter. At some point, price breaks one way or the other on Bitcoin. And then I do think at that point, it gets a big move. I don't know which way it's going to go. But yeah, I mean, it certainly is going to break at some point.
Are you still
it's actually done it. It's done it like 2-3 times this year, where it's just had this like step and then all of a sudden a massive move. And I think that's the concerning thing. And I think the first question I have for you, just by gut, 25 or 35? 25 or 35? Just by gut feeling, what would you say?
I from the perspective of that, I do think the NASDAQ and the risk assets are about to take a bigger tumble. I'm going to go 25. But for me, it's really across. So you break 27 or 27.5 at this point, and then 25 is a no-brainer. If for some reason we can get above this area and actually stay above there, then you could go to 35 very quickly as well. So
Eric, 25 or 35 next?
35.
Oh.
Oh.
Run. 25, 35.
I'm a natural optimist, but I do see the stock market coming down. So I'm gonna go into Gareth's camp. Sheldon.
Gareth, okay, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna be with Eric. I know I'm bull a lot of the time, but I still feel there's a little bit of trap coming there, and it's quite weird. The times that Bitcoin pumped this year, we actually had the stock markets going down, and then stock market's going up, and Bitcoin's been going down. So it's quite interesting to see how it would play out if the stock market did have to have a proper, decent 10-20% correction.
Yeah,
what would happen with Bitcoin?
One of the things that I've noticed that, to be honest, it makes me even more bullish on the mid to long term side of Bitcoin is that we saw when Moody's downgraded the banks and kind of threatened the big banks. That's when we got that pop the other day, right? And then if you go back to this day right here, that was when Fitch downgraded the U.S. debt, right? So you're seeing this reaction and we saw, by the way, over here. This is when I think it was, I don't know if it was here or over here. It was back in March. That's when Silicon Valley Bank failed, right? So anytime there's a banking crisis in the U.S., people are going into Bitcoin, which for the long term is amazingly positive for Bitcoin. Right? That's exactly what Bitcoin is supposed to be, right? A store of safety to get out of kind of these crazy, risky places. The only issue would be then, what if the economy drops, but there's no credit crisis? And so let's just say the stock market goes back to October lows. that would be where the risk side, I think the de-risking and the fear of that and kind of the money lost where people are leveraged in the stock market and the crypto market could then take a bite out of Bitcoin.
All right, more important question. Who wins the fight, Zach or Elon? What's your, where's your money? Not for Elon, where's your money?
Zach looks quite,
Dude,
in
Zach
shape.
is
I'm not
ripped,
gonna lie.
man. Like
He looks ripped.
He was the nerdiest guy when he started Facebook, and now he's he looks like he's in shape, man. So I think Elon would get crushed, to be honest. So I would go with Zuck, but again, all I'm seeing is Elon making excuses about why this fight needs to be postponed indefinitely.
I got to show you something. So there's something about being rich, because it's not only Zach that that his whole physique changed. I just want to show you one of my other favorite photos. Here it is. Hold on a second. I just want to show you. Oh, come on. I'm not going to allow ads. Come on. Leave me alone. It's the picture of Bezos before and Jeff Bezos after. I mean,
yeah, he's also in shape, huh?
That's the before, right? That's the before, and that's the,
it's amazing when you have so much money you don't have to work anymore. You can actually spend time working out nonstop.
I mean, by that metric, you should be at the gym now, and Eric is a fucking multi-billionaire. Look at his physique.
Good point. Good point. What do we not
Let's
know?
go, baby.
Is that real gold on that helmet behind you?
That is a real life Spartan helmet, sir. That
is freaking awesome, man. One thing I would just say, speaking of Spartan helmets, is what I would suggest if Zuck or Elon is watching this. Do you guys watch Game of Thrones or any of these things where you could challenge to a duel? You could get someone to fight for you. Imagine if they could choose someone to get in the ring to represent them. That would be fun still.
Yeah, but I want to watch the fight. I want to watch the fight. Remember, Elon is much heavier than Zach. Elon is much taller than Zach. Zach's been training for much longer. Zach's been, and he's been training with the best fighters in the world. So I don't know. I kind of think, I don't know, how important is weight? How important is weight versus technique? I think technique's more important, right?
Technique and speed, right? Speed, Zuck would probably be quicker too. So,
yeah, Eric, what do you think, Zach or Elon?
Zuck's out there already winning tournaments, man. He's amazing. Honestly, I don't hate Zuck at all. I think he's gonna kill Elon, to be honest with you. And I'm a big Elon fan, but it is what it is, man. And it comes down to technique, just as you said. I've been boxing recently, and it doesn't matter how big you are. It really doesn't. There are extremely small people who come in, and if they have years of experience, they will just whip your ass like it's nothing. Like it ain't nothing. So my money's on Zuck, man.
I once went boxing. My friend said to me, "Come boxing with me," and he took me to a professional boxing place. Anyway, I get in the ring. And I'm not a big guy. I'm a small guy. If you meet me, I'm actually much smaller in real life. So, there I am, ready to box. And they put me up against some guy who's almost professional. And as he comes at me, I lift my knee. So obviously the ref stops the fight. And then again, he comes up against me. My reflex is to lift my knee. So I lift up my knee. And the third time, the ref, who's also the coach, says to the umpire, who's also the coach, says to the other guy, says, if he lifts his knee again, knock him out.
Oh man!
Really?
He came at me the third time, and the next thing I know, I was lying on the floor, and they were fanning my face with towels and shit. So
feels good, don't it?
Gareth, I think I want to jump back to you quickly. I don't know if we got to the point of what's your thoughts on this dominance at the moment. We spoke to Eric just now, and he's saying there's a possibility of a 60% Bitcoin dominance. Do you think it's still very much in favor of more upside? And technically, the last bull market, 2019, well, before the bull market, we did have Bitcoin dominance rage up for a couple of months. And it's quite interesting to see, is they going to do the similar thing going into the halving? Do you think there's still a 60% on the cards?
I think close to that, yeah. So what we see is just going back to 2023, it's kind of been the same pattern formation. You get the big move, then you get this kind of consolidation pullback, big move, consolidation, pullback, and here we have the same sort of thing starting again. So I'm assuming at least you could really almost chart this out perfectly like that. You're going to break up probably sooner than later, and this is where I've got it marked off to go to is right at that area, right? So if you look at this bigger trend line down here, and then pivot point, and look at how those two lines meet right around 59% or so. So yeah, I think that's dead on.
Well, to be honest, the only time it's been going up this year is a bullish Bitcoin. So it's quite interesting. If we are going to have a possible 60%, why would it be in the other direction? You know what I mean? Very interesting.
That is true.
Cool. What I've obviously noticed the last few days is a 𝗵𝗁𝗍𝗵𝗆 awakening. Do we think these meme coins? I don't know anymore. It's crazy how they're starting to break some structures, and it's quite interesting to see if they're gonna. Because for me, there hasn't been much retail. There hasn't been much of that in the market, and maybe we do have a little bit of a meme run, which will probably again maybe put in a temporary top. Or start the inflow of some new money. I don't know. I kind of feel we have no interest in the market and we need some interest again.
Yeah, I know this. Sorry.
I want to run a theory past all of you guys, and just tell me whether I'm smoking my socks here, okay? But there was an announcement the other day that PayPal is launching their own stablecoin, right? Okay, now the one thing which has taken liquidity out of crypto is that there are no on-ramps and off-ramps. It's very hard to get into the on-ramps and off-ramps. But PayPal is arguably one of the biggest on-ramps and off-ramps in the world, because if you put your money into PayPal, you swap it into this new 𝗙USD. That's an ERC20 token. That's effectively a token on Ethereum. You then transfer it out of your PayPal wallet onto the DEXs, and bam, we've got retail money back into crypto. And that, to me, could drive up the meme coins. Because remember, if you think about a retail investor now trying to get into crypto, it's very hard for them. There's no on-ramps and off-ramps. The bank accounts, it's just become like, it's become like. And now you got 𝗙USD, go onto PayPal, put dollars onto PayPal, withdraw them from your bank account, swap them into 𝗙USD, and bang, you're in business. So I think when that happens, all of a sudden you got these TikTokers, $10 traders, $50 traders coming on using PayPal as their on-ramp and off-ramp. So I don't know. I think I'm looking for that. That's why I'm long 𝗵𝗃 and Doge. Not very long 𝗵𝗃, but more long Doge. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. All right, guys. Anything else? Anything else happening? Any other trades that you're looking at, or are we putting this thing to bed? Because Bitcoin doesn't seem to be moving.
I do think up over the weekend. It's just my personal thoughts at the moment of us breaking this wedge here, retesting at the moment, and now starting to get a little bit of a bounce. So I do think we could possibly have a little push up in the weekend. And again, the tokens that are looking pretty strong. I saw we had Phantom wake up over the last day or so. Obviously, Solana looking good yet again. And there was one or two Thorchain, Tomo chain. I don't know if you know much about that. But yeah, again, it's selective altcoins.
I thought Thorchain was dead. Now we got Jordi here. Jordi, is Thorchain a dead project, my friend? Or is it still alive, and is it still kicking? Is it still going on?
They have a small but very passionate community, so I'm scared to say anything bad about them. But let's just say not much has happened in a while over there.
And what are your thoughts on 𝗨𝗏𝗏, sir? Are you a 𝗨𝗏𝗏 fan? You strike me as the kind of person who'd love 𝗨𝗏𝗏. You're the kind of guy who loves degenning and buy and burn models. And
you know, Ran, like everybody thinks that, and then they see it. Like I have a daughter, and then they're like, "Oh, I thought you were like a complete degen. What's going on? You're like a normal person." I'm not as degen as people think, even though I have the poker background, and I will gamble, pretty big sometimes. 𝗨𝗏𝗏, it's been a hell of a trade for some people. I know people that it's the best trade they've ever made in their lives. Obviously, now it's kind of late, right? Like we're late in the game now. We've had the 10x. So
Eric, you hear what he's saying? It's late in the game. Be careful, Eric. You're late to the party here.
Where do you get this idea that I'm buying 𝗨𝗏𝗏 right now, man? Where's this coming from? It maybe got one more move, and then it probably goes down into a consolidation, and comes significantly lower. It's just the game, man.
Yeah. Jordi, what are you looking at? We've been talking about Bitcoin dominance. We've spoken about the meme coins. Where's your head? Are you making any trades? What GMX I saw took a big dive today, $44, $45. Is that? I know you don't like it because it's not your style of derivatives platform. Tell me what you're looking at.
Okay. I mean, there's a lot of other DeFi projects, and there's a lot of competitors in the perp space. So I'm looking at some of those. I think Maker is being kind of trying to break out and might break out a bit more. But I'm mainly looking at these like super manipulated coins, like the YGG pump and dumps we had. That was something that I think if you play it right, you can do extremely well. And if you're doing this World Series of Trading competition, you want this like huge volatility. If you can manage to time it right, you can get a multi-Xer on it. But you need to know that someone's gonna crash it. There's gonna be a dump, so you need to time it. I've had people message me on Twitter saying like, "Hey, I lost $6 million trying to buy the breakout." Had somebody else message me, he lost $4 million on the reversion. Like people are losing it both ways. So someone's
but market manipulation. Come on, that was a bunch of market makers manipulating the market using perpetuals for their own book. Come on, let's just call a spade a spade.
Yeah, I mean, you have this illiquid spot market. They corner some of the spot supply. They corner it, and then they can just like it's like the tail wagging the dog. You know, even though derivatives is the liquid, that's where all the hundreds of millions of volume happens. They just move the spot, and then people are getting wrecked up and down. It's crazy. It's a tough game, but if you want to gamble and just try to win a competition, that's the kind of market to look out for.
I suppose everyone's bored. I suppose everyone's really bored right now. They're just trying to do what they can, trying to get a little bit of entertainment somewhere.
Yeah, like you guys said at the beginning, like the breakouts, buying breakouts is tough. It's tough on Bitcoin. No way.
I bought a little bit of GMX today just because I think it's cheap and I think it'll have a bounce. I took a little position that I shorted 𝗵𝗿 2 days ago because I thought the Microsoft announcement, I read between the lines in the Microsoft announcement that it wasn't actually a partnership. It was 𝗵𝗿 developing something in Microsoft.
It's the oldest trick in the book, buy a product and say it's a partnership.
Exactly. Anything else you're looking at, Jordi?
No, but like, I was telling some people that we bought some iPads and MacBooks for the team now. So 𝗙𝗍𝗍 Capital is officially sponsored by Apple. We have a collaboration with Apple.
A partnership. It's a collaboration. It's a collaboration.
Yeah. So pump the stock. Otherwise, let's see what tokens I'm looking at. Yeah, there's not much going on. I'm hoping Bitcoin news at some point picks up. I'm very long Bitcoin in general, so I'm kind of expecting.
You think we get an ETF this year?
Yeah.
Okay, but not today. Definitely not today.
Unlikely, but at some point. So this is the accumulation phase. It's going to be too late at some point. Like you're not going to find. What's the meme? Like, this is the last time you're going to see Bitcoin below 30K? Maybe this is the last time.
This is the last time you'll ever see Bitcoin below 30K. All right, guys, on that note, I think let's call it a day. I think Bitcoin's not going to move. Thank you, Gareth. Thank you, Jordi. Thank you, Eric. Much love to you guys. We'll see you guys again soon. To the Banter fam, we will see you again on the weekend. Just remember that this was actually brought to you by NordVPN. If you are surfing without a VPN, you're absolutely crazy. Because if you think about where the authorities are getting their information from, they're going to the decentralized protocols, they're going to the exchanges, and they're saying, show us a list of IP addresses. Now, if you're not masking your IP address, you're on that list. So use a VPN and mask your IP address. It's a big thing in crypto. You can get a VPN for $3 a month. Okay, now that is the best $3 you can spend in crypto, guys. It's really, really, really the best $3 you can spend in crypto. If you're surfing without a VPN, you're basically walking around without clothes on. It's as simple as that. So sign up with a VPN. If you're not signed up to our ByBit trading competition, sign up to the ByBit trading competition. We will be doing giveaways on my show and Sheldon's show of an iPhone. One iPhone for every 50 people that sign up. Otherwise, I will see you guys on Twitter Spaces.
What's your thoughts before we go? Well, what do you think about these guys? Like, I was looking at the top teams here. 6,000 P&L. I think they're on crazy coins at the moment.
I think that if they're clever, I think that if they're smart, they stop.
They stop. They stop, bro.
Lots of leverage. They're taking lots of leverage. And if you take lots of leverage, if you go on the way down, you go on. Was that a squad? That wasn't a squad. That was one trader, right?
Yeah, so a lot of them. So I was looking at the top 5 rankings. They got like one guy on the top that's in a couple thousand, and the rest are very similar to where we at. So I see we around what 29th at the moment, 25th, which is pretty good. And I think guys just keep the slow, consistent rate. I think that's the way to win this thing. A lot of the guys that are going high leverage. You'll see these guys that are on 6,000. They'll be down to 1,000 very quickly at some point. So just keep slowing it down and just trade a little bit medium time frames.
All right, guys, much love, Sheldina, much love. I'll see you on the weekend, or I'll see you tomorrow. Until then, everybody, trade well, my friend. Sending you all much love.